Hey, this is Andrew Brown. In this video, I want to give you an introduction into Amazon Bedrock. So Amazon Bedrock is a model as a service, or it's a collection of things that you can do with LLMs and things like that. And we're going to go through the most basic things, basically learning how to start using it, deploying a model, things like that. So I'm going to go over to Amazon Bedrock. And then once this is loaded, on the left-hand side, we have a lot of options. Now, I've already utilized this within North Virginia region. So when I go over here to the model catalog, which is all of our possible models, I already have a bunch activated. But if you are doing this for the first time, you got to go all the way down the ground here, go to model access, and you want to modify your model access. Now, you might see an option here that says, grant me all model access, and I'll show you what I mean. If I switch over to a region that I know I have not deployed this in, like Europe, Ireland, if I have access to this, we'll see. And I don't have, yeah, there we go. So let's say enable all model access. So that's what you want to do, and just go ahead and proceed to all. Some options might require you to fill in some information. Some models may take time to get access to it. So it's best for you to do this as soon as you can. But anyway, you can see I have most model access here. And so if I wanted to modify my model access, I could just checkbox on things here. But I try to get access to as much as I can just because it makes my life easy. And basically everybody that uses Amazon Bedrock basically does this approach. Looks like there's been some changes here. I like how they said fine-tuning distribution because custom models was not clear before, which is fine. But anyway, so I have a lot of models here, and if I want to start working with them, I can work in the playground. So the playground, also known as a workbench, depending on what provider you utilize, is a place where you can start working with these models. And so here I can go ahead and select a model. But before I do that, notice I have two options here, chat and single prompt. If you're using something like Azure AI Studio, they'll be called chat and chat completion. On Amazon Bedrock, it is called chat and single prompt. And so when we want to have a conversation, we'll use chat. And when we want to just have a single term response, we'll go and use that one. But in here on the left-hand side, we have a bunch of options. And so we have A121 Labs, Amazon, Anthropic, Cohere, Meta, Mistral. There are some other models that should be here. I don't see them in the categories, but maybe we'd have to deploy them and then infer them another way. But, here are all the new models. I think that Amazon models are under the free tier. But honestly, a lot of these things are in the pennies. So if I go and take a look here and say Amazon Bedrock pricing. Okay. And we go down to our generative AI pricing. You can see a lot of these models, it's like 002, 008. So you need to utilize quite a bit. And this is price per 1,000 tokens. So quite a bit before you are seeing super spend. So you do have to have some spend. But, I think that, again, Amazon Bedrock Amazon models might have some free tier. But where that is, I don't know. And it'd probably be on the Titan Text Express. Okay, so just understand, it's very hard to get around those costs. And even if you had credits from AWS, there's no way to get around this stuff. So just understand that you are going to have some spend on AWS and probably Azure and GCP when using model as a service. But notice that the billing is inputs and outputs, which is a little bit different from other providers. But I know that there are other models in here that I couldn't select from. So I know that IBM has Granite. And so I believe that would have to be deployed from the marketplace. But for now, we'll go with the things that we can utilize. So I'm going to select a model, and I'm going to go to Amazon, and we're going to use the Nova Lite. And so notice we have the option on demand. So if we click around, we might see more than one option. Okay, so we have inference here. And, before what would happen is you'd have on-demand and provisioned. And I'm not sure why I can't find this today. Maybe it's under Meta. Yeah, I don't know. It's there used to be two options here. And I'm not sure why it's only showing on-demand. But on-demand means that you deploy it and then you consume, like whatever credits you consume is what you spend. There is another mode called provisioned. But I'm not sure why it's not showing up here today, but that's totally fine. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Nova Lite. We'll hit apply. Sorry for being all over the place. And so we have our Amazon Bedrock chat experience here. So I can go ahead and we'll just say, hello, how are you? If we want to start working with this, okay? So hello, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How can I assist you today? If you have any questions or need information on a particular topic, feel free to let me know. So pretty straightforward. This is not the same thing as an AI-powered assistant. AI-powered assistant doesn't give you all these parameters and dialogues you can work with. And also, an AI-powered assistant is going to have a lot more things going on in the background. You could build your own AI-powered assistant within Amazon Bedrock, where it's under agents. So you could create it there. You can see I already have one created from before. But yeah, this one is pretty straightforward. You should know how to programmatically work with Amazon Bedrock, and so that's something that I think that we should spend a little bit of time doing. So we're going to need a notebook. So let's make our way over to SageMaker. Okay, and so I showed you in another video how to use SageMaker. They renamed it to SageMaker AI. Obviously, they want to put AI in there to let people know what it is. And so if I go over to Getting Started here, or sorry, Studio, you should already have one set up from the time we were going through notebooks. If you don't know how to do that, go take a look at how to do that. So SageMaker Studio is opening here. I'm going to go over to Jupyter Labs. We're going to create a new Jupyter space. I'm going to say my space. And we're going to go ahead and create that space. This is an MLT3 medium. I believe it costs a nickel an hour. So if you can't afford a nickel, don't run this. You could also use Amazon Bedrock locally. It's just API, so you could forego this cost if you want. But again, I try to use always cloud IDEs, and I'm trying to use the one that is specific to the provider. So if you want to go use Gitpod or GitHub Codespaces on your free credits, you absolutely can. But I'm running it here today, so just choose whichever notebook you want to utilize. So this is just starting to get spun up here, so I'm just waiting. Okay, and I'm just going to pause here and wait till the space becomes ready. All right, so our environment is ready. I'm going to go ahead and launch Open Jupyter Lab because we are again using Bedrock and everything is being taken care of for us. We're not downloading models, so it's very easy for us to use the small size of storage, and we do not need any kind of powerful compute whatsoever. I'm going to go here on the left-hand side. I'm going to create a new notebook. I'm going to rename this notebook. Okay, I'm going to rename it to, what will I rename this to? Just basic. And let's see if we can go ahead and make some code here. Now, we do have Amazon Developer Queue here, or Amazon Queue as they call it. And if I have access to this, I might ask it to write me some code. So give me an example of using Amazon Bedrock via the Python SDK. And it just happens to be here, so I'm going to give it a go. You're not subscribed to Amazon Q Developer, please request domain into that. Not going to do that, so that's totally fine. So I will just go ahead and go look up it manually. So let's say Amazon Bedrock API. And if we go over here to our API reference, honestly, I want Bodo, to be honest. Amazon Bedrock Bodo 3. And if we go to the documentation, we have a bunch of runtime. So we type in Bedrock here. We have Bedrock, Bedrock runtime, and agents for Bedrock. So agents for Bedrock is for Amazon Bedrock agent. Bedrock is for infrastructure on Bedrock, and Bedrock runtime is actually working with models. So this is the one that we want. And they have invoke model and the newer one called Converse. I'm going to use Converse here today because that one's a lot better. And so we're going to start working with this one here. So I'm going to go over to here. I'm going to try to use my memory to do this. We're going to say import Bodo 3, which would be funny if I can just do this for memory. And I need to initialize a Bedrock runtime client. So I'm going to try this. Client equals, again, just trying to do this from memory, like that. And yeah, it doesn't like that. So I was hoping that I could just do that from memory, but I guess not exactly. So I'll go back a step. Yeah, so I'm just missing this. Okay. I try my best to try to do things from memory because it's just better long-term for me. But we'll go back over to here. And we'll go ahead and grab the response, Converse. And so it has some options. It needs the model ID. Okay. You see, you don't need ChatGPT when you got Andrew to help you here. And so we're going to go over to SageMaker, or not SageMaker Studio, but back to Bedrock. And so we need a model ID, right? So if I want to use something here, I'm going to go to the model catalog. Shows that there's like 46 that are serverless, which is great. But we're going to stick with the Amazon models here for today. I'm going with Nova Lite, so I'll click into that. It's a multimodal. That's pretty sweet. Maybe all I want is actually text, so I actually might change it to. I'm gonna go back to just Amazon here. I'm actually just gonna micro. All I want here is text, to be honest. And so the model I'm looking for is this model ID. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that. It's actually up here as well, which is a little bit easier. And we're gonna go ahead and paste that in. I'll bump up the font here a little bit. I know it's very, very small. And so we need our standard messages in here. So that is pretty straightforward. And it's either user assistant, which is pretty much standardized for the Bedrock API, which is one reason why I like the Converse API. Okay, and so here is one message, and this is going to be the user. You always have to start with the user first, apparently. And I think it'd be content. I'm just guessing here. Okay, I'm gonna go back over to here. Well, here, yeah, we have content, and then we have to specify what it is. So within it, it looks like, yeah, we'll have to specify that it's this. Okay, so the content is really going to be this here. And the reason why we have to do this is because some models take in text and other ones don't. And so you see text, image, document, tool use. So based on what you're passing in is going to vary, but we're just passing in text. This is a text-only model. And so this is what we have to do. There's probably like a shorthand for this so that we don't have to write as much, but I'm just going to go with the full hand here. It's totally fine. I'm going to wrap that as well here. And we still need this to close. The only thing I don't have here is, like, let's say a system prompt, which is down below here. So that's going to be system text. Okay, so go ahead and do this. And this one is similar. But we have, yeah, just text string. So this will be this. Okay, you're correcting my English grammar and spelling mistakes. Okay, so I've prompted it to tell it what to do. There is a little highlighting issue here. So it does not like something. I'm just trying to, oh, you know what? It's because I have a single within the middle there. There we go. And so this should be the most basic thing that we need to set up. And so I'm going to go ahead here and just write something. So I'll say, hello, what's the weather like around here? Okay, and so I'm not sure if it will be able to do this, but we will give it a try. I've never used micro, so I don't know how intelligent it is. It doesn't like the spaces here, so I'll just take that out. It's not really a problem. It's just spaces. And provisional argument follows keyword. Yeah, I'm not sure what it's trying to say there, but I'm just going to go ahead and bring this onto its own line. I'm just trying to get rid of all the stuff here. Yeah, this one has, oh, that's an equals. Okay, so let's do that instead. There we go. And so that looks good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and run that. And we have an error. We'll go down. Invalid type for parameter system. Expecting type class dictionary, but class list tuple. So I'm going to go back over to here. Oh, and it wants an array of it. Okay, that's fair. I mean, I don't know why. It would only ever take one, but we'll go ahead and do that. And so now I'm going to go ahead and print the response. Let's see what we got. So we have a bit here. A little bit too much going on here, so I can't really see what I'm doing. But we do have output here, so I'm going to go ahead and try this. I'm really just taking a guess here. There we go. And so getting closer, we have the message. Okay. And then I want the content. And I know it's very verbose, but once you get your code wrapped around here, it's not so bad. I'm going to assume there was like a 0 in there. A lot of times these are in arrays. So search, sure, here's the corrected version of your sentence. Hello, what's the weather like around here? Here are the changes I made. Okay, so there you go. That is the most basic example of using Amazon Bedrock. There's a lot of features, a lot of different API stuff, but this will get you the most basic stuff you need to know. So I'm going to call this done. I guess I could download this code. Let me just think about this for a second. Yeah, I don't really have a repo yet, but I'll go ahead and make one just in case people want it. So I'm going to go to Exam Pro here. Obviously, in other videos, it'll look like it already existed, but I'm going to go ahead and make the repo quickly. So I just created a repo called GenAI Essentials. And so I'm just going to start placing these somewhere. So I'll go ahead and download this. Download. Here it is. Okay, great. And I'm going to make a new folder here. This one's going to be, I don't know. We're looking at models of service, but I'm just going to say Bedrock. And that's what it'll be called. We'll rename it Amazon Bedrock, I suppose. Amazon Bedrock. And I'm going to bring in that file here. So if you, for whatever reason, want to run the exact same one, there you go. Okay. I'll go ahead and commit that. And before we get out of here, I just want to make sure I stop that workspace. I'm going to go ahead and stop it. And once it stops, you can go ahead and delete it. There we go. And I'll see you in the next one, okay? Ciao.